We will have to keep you on the monitor for a little while.
Okay.
Once we get a good strip overall, we can. I'll ask
Let
them
me
to put
move.
home. Yeah,
Okay.
we can put you on for a little while. Take you off for a
That
little
would be
while.
great.
As long as the baby looks good, then we can do that. Okay. The only way we know what's going on with the baby is with the strap.
Yeah.
So I want her to be a little more reactive than that. So
Let me have to find out.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you need to turn the volume up a little bit because I'm not typically screaming like I normally am, please go ahead and do that. My child is currently sleeping. In my last video you guys saw, or if you haven't seen, please check it out, my part 1 of my birth story. If you have not already, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell so you never miss a video, and be sure to connect with me on Instagram, which is where I typically get all my questions and stuff and ideas to put it on YouTube. I hope Nova and Bella will both sleep through this recording. Let's get started from literally the beginning of my water breaking. God aligned and planned my birth story down to the freaking T, because as I've been going back processing it, it's literally like stuff that happened so smoothly, it couldn't have been nobody but God. So Chad had not taken off work. He literally did not take paternity leave until the day I went into labor and my water broke. That Thursday, February 24th at like 6:30 in the morning, Chad was about to walk down the stairs to go get in his car to go to work. I woke up and asked him to come like help me to the bathroom. As I'm getting out the bed, because you know, I'll ask Chad to do something. If he don't move as fast as I want him to move, I will do it myself. But as I'm like preparing myself to get up before he can even get to me to help me up, because y'all know at this point I'm 9 months pregnant, I'm wobbling, I'm big, and it's hard to like get up and get out the bed. He comes closer to the bed, and as I'm inching up, I'm like, oh shoot, my water's breaking. Thinking I'm joking. He's like, nah, because it was just a trickle. Like, it was just a trickle. I knew it wasn't pee because it didn't feel like it was coming from where my pee come from. It felt like it was coming from a different place, or like I couldn't stop it. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. So then I go to the bathroom and he was like, no, you probably just gotta pee. Before I could literally sit down to pee, as I'm standing over the toilet, it gushes. It gushes everywhere. So now I'm freaking out because I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm anxious. It stops, I'm able to pee. I get up, I get in the shower. Chad like brushes out of his clothes, puts on some sweats, he's grabbing the bags, he's grabbing my bags, he's grabbing the car seat. I get in the shower, I take a shower. The minute I step out the shower, y'all, my water keeps breaking. It's going everywhere. So by now we got like towels all over the floor. I'm still like in my head like, oh my God, my water broke. So I'm trying to call my mom, I'm trying to call Burberry, I'm trying to call my aunts. I'm trying to like let the people know that I really wanted to know firsthand, like, my water's breaking, we're headed to the hospital, somebody need to come get Bella, and my mama need to meet us at the hospital. Like, that was my biggest goal. So yeah, I'm like still leaking, and when I say leaking, I mean like it's excessive to the point where I couldn't put on no pad, no drawers, no nothing. Coming to my mama cave, well, formerly known as my boutique, and I'm like, what can I even put on? Like, put on this like big dress, comfy dress, long sleeve. I ain't had no bra on, I ain't had no drawers on, I ain't brushed my teeth, I ain't put my contacts in. I literally was just trying to grab stuff, go. I looked a mess with my bonnet, okay? With my bonnet. We get downstairs, we let Bella go potty, we get in the car, and you know, if you don't know, I have a new car. Got into the new car, but I'm still leaking, and I'm like, we don't need more than one towel, because if I'm leaking the way I've been leaking, this thing finna get all in my new car seats, and that's not the move. Chad runs back upstairs to get multiple towels. As he's getting the towels, I'm still like in shock that I'm having contractions, my water's breaking, I'm trying to vlog at the same time. It was just a lot, but I was so excited because I'm like, oh my God, it's baby time. We stopped at McDonald's to try to get me something to eat, because I told him if they don't let me eat, I'm gonna be mad. We need to stop and get me something to eat. Parks in the drive-through, but then gets out because the drive-through is going slow. As soon as he gets out, it starts moving. So people like, why are y'all parked here? So they're a little irritated. I'm irritated because I'm having contractions. And then on top of that, we didn't get no sandwich because the lady was too busy running her mouth while Chad's trying to get stuff. So anyways, he got me an orange juice. And then we get to the hospital, we check in. They asked me, did I want a wheelchair? I was like, nah, I want to walk. Mind y'all, I got this big, almost cussed, I got this big behind towel between my legs, like a big old pad, as I'm wobbling through the hospital. So they let us go like through this back way. I guess the lady knew I was looking rough, so she let me go the shortcut, like where the nurses and stuff go. Then we get up to labor and delivery. We were the first people, so it was like no wait. That's the other thing that was so perfect. It was no wait. It was nobody in front of us. We were the first people there for the first shift of the nurses and stuff from 7 to 7. So we check in. Get this, they asked me who our pediatrician was and wanted me to put that down. I ain't know. I ain't had no pediatrician. I don't know why I was thinking I had more time, but I did not have more time. My child was like, I'm coming, I'm here, hello. Because they said we could decide later, so they checked us into triage, got into triage. As y'all saw everything that happened, we had some great nurses. But one thing I want to point out, once we got into triage, I don't know if you guys saw it, but the nurses were talking about baby girl strip, Nova strip, excuse me, from the first time we checked in, which is why she was like, drink your orange juice, because she wanted Nova to perk up some. On her chart, it just was a little bit flat, so to speak, is what the nurses were saying. When I get to explaining how the doctor made me feel, then I'm gonna touch back on that. But I do want to note that from the time we got to the hospital, Nova's vitals were not the best. They were not looking the best, which is why she nicely told me, hey, drink you some orange juice or eat something. We want the baby to perk up, and we want to monitor you until we get a good enough strip before we take you off and do intermediate monitoring, where I could move around a bit more without having to keep the thing on my belly. After we got through triage, let me back up. Doula / mother finally arrived, and I say finally, but it wasn't like she was that far behind us, but I didn't know because only one person could be in triage with me, so Chad was with me. One of the nurses comes in and they go, we think your mom's here, and I'm like, what's going on? They're like, well, we just had to get her to calm down. I was like, oh Lord, here she goes. So my mom is emotional, but I never see her emotions until it's like big stuff. Like, I've only seen my mom cry like when I won homecoming in high school. She cried at our wedding. She cried, I think, at my graduation. I can't remember. And then she cried the whole doggone labor and delivery. But they switch out and she comes in and she is bawling, y'all. She is boohoo crying. I'm like, girl, you gotta get it together. You about to coach me through these contractions. You gotta get it together, mom. I'm like, okay, baby. Oh, my baby having a baby. Like, she is just so emotional. In the beginning, I was fine because it was funny to me and I wasn't in that much pain yet. Notice I said yet. We get to our room and I'm so excited because it's all spread out. It's a big room and I really wanted us to spread out and not feel cramped. Things are moving along smoothly. I'm excited. I get to eat. Chad goes and gets me a bagel. I eat a bagel with cream cheese and some more orange juice, and I'm just like breathing through contractions, and finally my doctor comes in. In the beginning, me and my doctor was not seeing eye to eye because my birth plan was not what was happening and what she was reiterating could happen due to Nova's strip not looking the best. Knowing what I know now after processing everything, my doctor was the bomb, and I'm actually going to visit her and take her a thank you note because I'm just so grateful that God aligned it to where she was the doctor to do my C-section. Fast forward, doctor comes in and she just was giving me this energy of concern, but energy of concern with a little bit of coldness. It wasn't like what the nurses said, hey, we want the baby to perk up. It was like, well, I'm concerned the baby, needs to perk up. Here is vitals of a healthy baby. Here's vitals of your baby. I think we need to do a C-section because I can't guarantee that your baby's getting oxygen. I can't guarantee that your baby is in healthy conditions right now. So I'm looking at another baby's vitals. Then I'm looking at my baby's vitals on top of trying to progress and mentally continue to go through my contractions and dilate faster, because when I got there I was 1.5 and I hadn't made any progress by the time she was telling me this about a C-section. And as soon as I heard C-section, I'm like, sis, I'm done. I ain't got shit to say to you. Like, that's really how I was feeling. I was pissed off already with her vibe. I was pissed off that I felt like my birth plan was already being overlooked, when in reality her biggest priority was Nova's health. And now that I understand that, I'm so grateful. But in the time, I just wish it could have came off a little different. After I saw the healthy baby's vitals and then my baby's vitals, now I'm freaking out, which is making her freak out, which is just not conducive for the environment. So I put some music on. They shut the monitors off for a little bit, so I'm not constantly looking at her dips, because once I knew what was going on and I noticed it, I just kept seeing her vitals. And then Chad kept watching her vitals. And then me watching Chad watch her vitals had me freaking out even more. And then during this, because she had mentioned C-section, and y'all gotta understand, I've never had any type of surgery. I've never had to be put under anesthesia except when I got my wisdom teeth out. My mom had never had to go through me doing any type of surgery either. So she starts freaking out. And when I mean freaking out, I think my mom honestly had a panic attack, and we thought we was gonna have to admit her to the ER because she was doing so bad. She had the runs. She had like these cold but hot sweats where when she came back in, she had to get out her clothes and try to lay down, need a cold compress. Like, she just was not in a good frame of mind. And so it was frustrating again because she was supposed to be there to comfort me, and I'm like trying to explain to her what the doctors are saying, but she's in and out the room, so she was missing a lot of stuff. So all of that was just pissing me off. OFF. I was mad. So mad. So then I said, okay, Megan, you gotta tap into mama mode. You need to shut all this stuff out. Just focus on getting your baby here healthily, and you need to be dilated by the time your doctor walked back in this room. Because she was like, if we don't see no progression, then it's basically like I'm about to have a C-section whether I want to or not. After I turned the video off, the monitor off, I put my music on. I had a labor playlist. Chad started rubbing my back. I started bouncing on the ball. My mom was gone so that she could get herself together. So I felt like I was in the zone. It was me and my baby, me and Chad. We was just ready to get our baby girl out. I started squatting on the toilet, having contractions on the toilet. I was doing dips. I was doing everything I could. So when the doctor came back, I think I was 3, almost 4 centimeters, or like 3.5. So because I had progressed, I was so excited, y'all. Literally, when she told me that, I started twerking, like, for real. And I was like, yes, thank you, Lord. Like, we're progressing. I just want to keep moving her down, keep moving her down. But then she was like, but I'm still not seeing a progression in her vitals. Give me the Pitocin, kick my contractions up. Unfortunately, because they started coming back so fast and coming quicker and quicker, it was affecting Nova even more. So then they came back in. I was 5 centimeters dilated. She had a couple of perks. Oh, that's a cute dog. Sorry. She had a couple of perks because she liked when I stood up and when I squatted. If I was on my side or laying down, she wasn't feeling it at all. So she perked up a little bit, but it still wasn't enough to where the doctor was like, I'm confident in you doing a vaginal delivery. Like, she still was preaching to me like, we need to get you into a C-section ASAP because your baby's vitals are not good. And I'm studying like, you just, in my head, I'm like, you just want me to have a C-section because it's more, expensive. And I just kept hearing how people will push you to do a C-section. And I just felt like, my body is made to do this. I'm fine. Mind you, I hadn't had the epidural yet. So I'm like, listen, I just want to stick to my plan. Why is my plan not going according to plan? What we have to realize is God has the line is the best plan for you. And I had to realize that I had to let go of trying to be center focus on my plan and going according to plan and just go with the flow and go with what was best for my baby. I got in so much pain, y'all. I was literally in tears begging them to bring me the epidural. I got the 7 centimeters and then I got the epidural. And when I got the epidural, y'all, I had no idea I was even having contractions no more. And I started having them even faster now because they bumped up my Pitocin even more because I couldn't feel nothing. So they was like, let's get your contractions going to try to get you to 10 centimeters. Nova's vitals got even worse. Doctor rushed back in there and was like, listen, if you want your baby to make it, basically, you need to have a C-section. And I'm looking like, what? And so I still was not on her side, y'all. I still felt like this doctor did not have my best interest at the time. But it was a nurse there named Morgan, which y'all saw in the video, she had so much comfort. I just felt so good with her. She was like the extra doula I needed because my mom, once I got into my rough contractions though, my mom kicked it into gear. Her and Chad had cold compresses. They was doing body massages, acupuncture. My mom really kicked it into gear after that. When Morgan came in there, I literally was like, Morgan, can I talk to you about myself? Like, I don't want the doctor in here. I want to talk to you about myself. She was like, okay. Sorry, y'all, my lips chapped. I said, Morgan, if you were me, what would you do? And she was like, let me explain to you why she wants you to have a C-section first. I'm like, finally. Somebody's explaining something to me in layman terms where I can understand it when you already got a million things going on in your mind. The way she explained it to me was every time you have a contraction, it is pressing down on your baby. because you have lost so much fluid with your water breaking, which they also had me set up in IV. They were pumping fluids in me. I had very low fluid. She said, because you have very low fluid, your baby doesn't have much wiggle room and places to go. So every time you have a contraction, it's like she has to hold her breath. And then you're supposed to have a break in between, at least a minute or so, but yours are clustered, so they're coming back to back to back. And every time they're coming back to back to back, it's like your baby has to every time. And she is not getting the oxygen she needs, which can also cause issues with her brain, which is why the sooner we get her out, the healthier she will be. I was like, when you explain it to me like that, it made so much sense. We made a decision right after me getting the epidural and talking to Morgan to go ahead and go with the C-section to get Nova out. I remember the last thing I was saying. Chad called me to tell me he was off for work, but if I could say anything, things to take away from the video or what I would like for you to take away. Number one, follow God's plan, follow his lead. Let him lead you. It's so much easier, and he will make a better plan for you than you could ever have made for yourself. Number two, trust your gut, but also don't be so hard-headed to where you're set to go by a strict plan that you've created. Number three is to just cherish every moment. Literally, as I was processing my birth story, I realized that my daughter's about to be 1 month. And it's so crazy that it took time for me to process it, but also that time just flew. So make sure that you're doing stuff like this, vlogging your moments, taking pictures, journaling, whatever it is where you can capture memories and moments for yourself, please do that. Being able to look back on stuff and just process things and dissect things and kind of self-counsel myself by talking to y'all and talking things out through my family and stuff. I think that's why, I don't want to go on another rant, but that's one other thing I would say is make sure you let stuff out. It is okay to cry. It is okay to be upset. It is okay to be happy. It is okay to share. Sometimes we feel like we have to keep stuff in because it'll make us look vulnerable, or people may not be happy for us, whether you're sharing something good, sharing something bad. But if you can't share to somebody, right, talk to God. Talk to, a loved one that's passed on. I talked to my dad, talk to my grandma. It's nice to talk to them. Like literally one day Nova was napping and she was smiling. They say sometimes babies do that. They're talking to angels. And I was like, girl, you talk to your grandpa, huh? Make sure that you can leverage and let stuff out so that you can consistently be kind of at a balance. You know what I mean? That's all I got. Thank you so much for watching my video. Again, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Be sure to hit the bell so you never miss a notification. Your girl gotta go. Nova is getting fussy. She wants to eat. You ready to eat? Are you ready to eat? See y'all next time. Bye.